We have had some success in the 9/11 Truth Movement, and it is largely because of you. We want to continue that success. So I'm asking you to support AE 9/11 Truth and to support the next phase of Rethink911.org. We're going into a whole new phase 2 of Rethink 9/11 in our January campaign to be unveiled shortly. So we're going to give you an opportunity to give it a massive kickstart. Please write a check if you can. If you can't, come on up, Vance. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Richard. Speak right in.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. My sister Diane Melville used to work for Cantor Fitzgerald on the 104th floor. Every time I come to these events, I always bring the ID that Port Authority security gave me when I went to see her on the 104th floor. It's horribly, horribly faded, but you can still see it. This was August 10th, 2001. My first time in New York, and my first time being higher than actually swinging on the street, so I wasn't too pleased about getting on 2 elevators to make it up to the 104th floor. But everybody at the building was very, very nice to me. I heard all these stories about New York not being a nice place. And these people I've never seen before treated me with like Southern hospitality, like I was their little brother. Of course, my sister, she's older than me, so she introduced me as her little brother, which is kind of annoying when you're 36, but anyway, what I wanted to tell you about. By the way, my sister did make it out of the building. She survived the '93 attack. She survived the 2001 attack. But she died last year from cancer, unrelated to the thermitic dust and all the other toxins and poisons in the air. Can you hear me? On the bus? Yeah, so my sister made it out of the building that day. And unfortunately, I've had a little bit of guilt, or a lot of guilt, for the last, I don't know, 7 years. Because once I got the phone call that my sister was okay, I just went back to work and just, fortunately, burn her like a lot of our friends and relatives have done. Whatever happened to the rest of those people that day. And, I was watching the news. I believed everything I was told. They told me it was some guy in the Middle East who tried to kill my sister, so I bought it. I don't know how many of you remember they were doing a poll about whether or not we should nuke the Middle East, but they showed me a picture of some guy who tried to kill my sister, so I went on the web and clicked yes, signed in a CNN poll that we should nuke the Middle East. Completely ignorant. I'm telling you that because reminding myself of that paradigm back then helps me to stay in touch with people who don't get it. Too often we researchers and activists unfortunately call people stupid or call them sheeple because they don't get it. I didn't get it till 2005, 2006, thanks to Bruce Chains, Burmis, Alex Jones, and a whole bunch of other people. So I say that just to say, if you were one of those people who got it right away, then okay, you're the one who raised your hand and you knew the answer while some of us had to write it out on paper when we were in class. The point is, try not to be so hard on the people who don't get it because, some people learn at different rates. We don't all pass the test with 85s or 100s. So anyway, I finally wake up, and the 9/11 Commission came to New Jersey, the New Jersey Performing Arts Center in Newark. So of course, after seeing all these films and Press for Truth and things like that, I wanted to question the 9/11 commissioners. I wanted to know basically, if what I heard and what I had researched and found out on my own was true about foreknowledge. We all know about Colleen Raleigh, Sybil Edmonds, Randy Glass, all those other things. So 9/11 commissioners, John Lehman, John Farmer. I'm from New Jersey, so most of them are in New Jersey now. John Farmer is a dean at Rutgers University in Newark. Tom Keene, he's still in New Jersey, former governor of New Jersey. So I asked the 9/11 commissioners towards the end. I'm the last person to get the microphone and ask a question. So I asked the commissioners, why is it that nobody was held accountable for lying about foreknowledge? And of course, I gave the litany. I cited the news articles. I had them in my hand at the time. I brought this huge folder with me, like I was going to have this much time to question the 9/11 commissioners. So the funny thing is, it was sponsored by our local newspaper, the Newark Star-Ledger, which, by the way, I stopped reading that newspaper and canceled my subscription after I got the answer from the commissioners. But my question was, why didn't you guys hold anybody accountable for lying to you about having foreknowledge about the attacks? And I listed Randy Glass and Sybil Edmonds, the conversation with the Israelis in the cemetery in Newark, New Jersey. I went on for a good 30 seconds before they finally cut me off. And John Lehman and John Farmer and Tom King took about literally 30 seconds to look at each other, staring at each other, kind of confused, and I'm not embellishing. It took them literally 30 seconds. And they finally decided that John Lehman would answer the question. And John Lehman told me something that I will never, ever forget in my entire life, and that's the reason that it makes me come here. One of the other reasons I come here, because sometimes I just don't want to come here. I'm sure. John Lehman actually told me it was not it was the commission's job to hold anybody accountable. So fortunately, that answer is what helped my editor at our local newspaper change her mind and decide to start looking into what I've been telling her for years. So I'm grateful for Mr. Lehman for his incredible arrogance. It was not their job. I just wish more people in the room. Like I said, our local newspaper, the Star-Ledger, to the event, and they wouldn't, because I wanted to have that video of John Lehman saying to the speaker, there was only people in the room, but I wanted the video of John Lehman, one of the chairman of the 9/11 Commission, by the way. He wasn't just an investigator. You know, John Lehman, I want to tell you this really quick. I don't know if you know, but John Lehman, McKinney talked about the war games, and thank you, by the way, for mentioning that, because I've been on the war games for the question for information about the war games. So there were a lot more than 7 in the Navy on 9/11. I don't know how many. He also covered up for the National Military Command Center on 9/11. The Navy was involved in those Guardian and Apollo exercises also on 9/11. So for this in that role to say it wasn't their job when he actually knew. I drive for a living. All right, I have a little cheesy public access TV show in New Jersey. If I can find this out, and it took me 2 years by filing FOIA requests, all this guy had to do was So he purposely decided to let the National Military Command Center off the hook and let the Navy off the hook. But I just remember those words. It wasn't our job. So if anybody ever tells you we had an investigation before, we don't need a new investigation, John Lehman said it was not their job. That doesn't, I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like an investigation to me. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And to introduce our final distinguished